So yesterday we discussed kind of the fundamentals of meditation, and I described how, we have an object that we focus the mind, and this is the breath that we're using. We're using the breath during this course, and we just allow the mind to become completely absorbed in the breath. And there's other stages to this too, like we're withdrawing the senses. So this is what happens when we close the eyes, is we withdraw the senses and we go inwards. So this is this is what we're doing. We're focusing the mind, and when we go inwards in this way, we can access new dimensions of our existence. And I also discussed, why we meditate. And for me, on a personal level, it's to discover who we truly are, your true essence, and to have a direct experience of it too. Because you can read in books all you like. People might say, oh, peace is within you. You are peace, you are joy, you are contentment, you are consciousness, you are pure awareness. But it's all just mental noise unless you have a direct experience of it. And that's why I find meditation can be such a transformational experience for people, because they can realize that, like truly realize that through experience, that who I am is peace, is joy, is freedom, is love. And that was one of my experiences of meditation. Now it's not always like that, and we're going to get into that soon, the different things we can experience. But for me, why meditation was so transformative was because one of the first experiences I had with it was just feeling complete as I was. And I just I didn't even know that was possible. um, you know just that sense of peace. I had a lot of symptoms back then, and during that 10-15 minutes of meditation, I just had complete relief from pain, feeling complete as I was, feeling like I didn't need to be doing anything. Because for many of us, we're conditioned that we should always be doing more, and one day, if we do enough and achieve enough, then one day that day will be enough. But actually, to get an experience of just feeling like complete and whole as I am, it can be a really transformative experience. So yeah, this is just a little personal experience of meditation, and this is one of the shifts that we can go through during this meditation journey, is shifting from doing to being. Because many of us have our sense of self wrapped up in how much we get done and what we do and what we achieve. But shifting to being, because the reason we do so much is because we think that's where our worth and our value is. It's like, I'm of some value and of some worth if I do stuff, right? But when you tap into your being, you realize that worth and value are inherent qualities. They're within you. And when you realize that, you realize you don't always have to be doing stuff in order to, you know, be enough or be of some value or some worth. And actually, the most powerful thing you can do is actually sit sometimes and just be still and do nothing. So, yeah, that's that's the shift from doing to being. And then into the question, who am I, right? Because this is one of, I mentioned how during meditation we can discover who you truly are. So the question is who am I, right? And this was helpful for me. I only really discovered this, you know, after a period of time in my meditation journey, but I think it's really helpful for people to know, is to understand who they are. And then they can understand maybe what they experience during meditation. Because, like I said yesterday, the word meditation can be loaded with so many expectations. I should feel peaceful. I should feel this. I should feel that. Oh, I shouldn't feel angry. I shouldn't feel these sensations. I shouldn't have these thoughts. So this is, and then when people do have those thoughts, sensations, whatever it might be, they think they're doing it wrong, and they then give up, and it's not, meditation is not for me, right? So it's realizing that who you are is a spiritual being having a human experience. So spirit is, or soul, whichever word you want to use. This part of us is unchanging. So take the body for an example. The body is changing. You have a different body now to the body you had when you were 7. But there's an awareness there that was there at 7 and is there now that's unchanging, right? And this pure awareness or consciousness is who you are. It's unchanging. And that awareness will still be there when you're on your deathbed. So this aspect of us is unchanging. And this is something that we can access during a meditation, is this state of pure consciousness and pure awareness, where it's this deep sense of peace. It's this feeling of just connection, oneness, connection to everything, right? There's no more separation anymore. So this is something that we can experience during meditation. Now we're also having a human experience. So part of that human experience is to occupy the body, this vessel, right? But the vessel, this body is just a vehicle, right? And many of us are completely identified with the body. It's who I am, right? But the body is a vessel. And I've used this analogy before, where it's the same as, like, I don't know what kind of car you have, but let's say it's a BMW. But it's the same as getting into a BMW, your car, and saying, I am a BMW. It's just completely inaccurate. It's just the vehicle that allows you to move and explore this paradigm, right? But it's not who you are. And we spoke on the last course, we spoke a little bit about aging. It's probably something we'll do later on in the course. But as you guys know, I'm pro-aging. So yeah, so that's a little bit about the body. Now, what other aspects of this human experience do we have? We have circumstance, which many people are identified with, like their job, bank account balance, their partner, XYZ, right? But none of these are who you are either. Why? Because they can change. Your bank account balance can be X amount of money one day, and the next day you might be broke, right? So it's changing. So how can that be who you are? Okay, then you have your job. Well, that can change too. So these are all aspects of life that are changing. So, even when people say, I am a doctor, it's not wrong, it's just inaccurate. You work as a doctor at the moment, but who you are as a soul, having a human experience, and part of that human experience is you work as a doctor, but it's not who you are. And you can realize by even saying, I work as a doctor, there's a transience to it. It's not so wrapped up in that person's identity. So other aspects of the human experience might be, and just on circumstance, this is what most people identify with, like money, job, and you can fill in the blank with whatever else, because they feel like that is what defines who they are. Many of us feel like what our external life looks like defines who we are, how good or bad our circumstances are. But this is a very conditional way to live. And like I said, self-worth and value, they're inherent qualities, and they don't depend on what your circumstances look like. It doesn't fluctuate. Self-worth and value is infinite, irrespective of what your life looks like. Like I said yesterday, yeah, it's just by virtue of your existence, right? The fact you're even alive and here is a miracle. So other parts of the human experience is we can experience thoughts, sensations, emotions, symptoms in the body that we would call dis-ease. Now, for many people, they're so obsessed that the senses take them outwards so much into the external world and what their life looks like that they're not even aware of this internal terrain. They have absolutely no idea of the thoughts that are arising and passing away, the sensations or emotions. They're just distracted, right? Now, when we can come into meditation, there can be a period for people, especially at the start, where they become aware, like a lot more aware of what's happening internally. And that can be quite disturbing for people. It can be quite confronting. It's like, and that's a lot of the reason why people give up. When they go inwards, they don't like what they see. So they run away from the practice. They think they're doing it wrong. They don't want to look at that. So they run, right? But it's very empowering to go inwards and look at that stuff. And you don't need to fight it, welcome it, greet it, say hello to it, like a friend who's visiting your home. Just welcome them. And as with these, similar to the other parts of the human experience, they arise and pass away. They're transient and they're impermanent. They pass. And it's during meditation, like I said yesterday, it's not about stopping thoughts, stopping sensations, stopping emotions. It's about being the witness. So it's noticing them arise, being the witness, not reacting, and then allowing them to pass away, watching them come and go. And this is the art of meditation, practicing non-reaction to thoughts and sensations. Because many of us are completely misidentified with that which is not who we are. And during meditation, we can realize who we are at our essence. So you're not your thoughts, you're not the sensations you experience, you're not the emotions, you're not symptoms or disease. Okay? So, yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, and this is, I actually wrote this down just before the class. You know, we misidentify with circumstance, thoughts, emotions, sensations, but through the meditation experience, we can disidentify from them and connect to our true self. And when this happens, the ego is no longer taking the driving seat in your life. And you're now guided by the soul. And this is ultimately that's who you truly are. So allowing the soul to take the driver's seat is part of this experience of meditation. And yeah, that's it on a little bit on meditation and what we experience. So for that reason, if during the next 10 days you experience thoughts arising, sensations arising, emotions arising, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It's not a reason to run away and give up. And actually, it's a positive experience because what it's allowing is it's allowing those thoughts and sensations to come to the surface because maybe we've suppressed the emotions, maybe we haven't been noticing them, but it gives them the opportunity to arise and be noticed. And once we just take that seat of witness consciousness, we allow them to arise and pass on. Okay. So, yes. Another couple of things that I just wanted to share is as you go on this journey over the next 10 days is just taking the practice into your daily life. So this presence, allowing that presence to an aliveness to be there in the actions that you take. So whether it's like washing the dishes, washing your hands, going for a walk, taking the bins out. Usually it's helpful to start with practices that you would treat as a means to an end. And instead of treating those practices as a means to an end, being alive and present in the action. And just notice how that transforms your experience of the very same activity that you used to do with resistance. Now there's like acceptance there. And just see how you're doing the exact same thing, but now you have a completely different experience of it. And the second one that I think is helpful is conscious check-ins. So this is something that you guys can do even on an hourly basis. I actually find it's something that came to me today, and I was like, wow, I haven't thought about this, but I did today. And it's an amazing practice where you just check in every hour, and it's like, okay, like where am I? You know, what kind of avenue am I going down here? Like, be aware of your thoughts, emotions, sensations, be aware of the actions that you're taking, and then just pausing, slowing down. And then, even if you want to take a few breaths, close your eyes and just take just a minute to pause and find some stillness. Maybe you've like lost awareness, and that's okay. That happens to all of us. But using that conscious check-in as an opportunity to recenter, to reground, and bringing that presence forward into whatever action you may take next. Yeah, and then finally, this is the final thing today. Um, I've had a few little kind of the tree trunk thing just came to me today. I've had a few kind of visuals today. So the tree trunk was the first thing, but the other thing is this, you know, it really just came to me as I was preparing for this class, was this blank canvas, right? And this is a word that's used a lot in spirituality, is like blank canvas. But even if you can picture a blank canvas, like close your eyes and picture a blank canvas. And now you get to create. You're the artist. And you get to create whatever you want to create. There's no limits. You are completely free. And then you go and create. And what you create is a masterpiece. And that's your life. And this is where we move from limitation to no limits and into pure freedom. So yeah, I'll leave that, guys, with you. I'll leave that with you, that visual. And I'll just stop the recording and we'll have a chat.